Maria from Crochet A to Z, and welcome to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please push that subscribe button. And if you have, I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone for being here today. Hopefully you're having a great day. So this is block number 3. We want to finish this block off. We want to put a border around it like we did with this one, or should I say like I did with this one. This is the same as the one I'm working on with the tutorial. We want to put this border, but before we do that, we want to bring these two blocks together. So what we're going to do is, you can fasten off. And because I finished on this side, I can't use this, and I can't make a long tail. So if you find that you're on this end, you can make a long tail. But if you're on this end, you cannot. So I'm going to just fasten this off. And I'm going to pull this through. I'm going to tighten it up like that. Now I want to say that this is on the right side. You can see our nice little beautiful cable stitch. So I'm going to get some yarn. And it doesn't matter which one you use. You can either use the red or this one. It doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to cut myself enough yarn so that I can sew down this side. And we're going to whip stitch it down the side. So, and then I'm going to need my needle. And then I'm going to make a nice knot. Not too big. Now I'm going to whip stitch this on the wrong side. So again, this is the front because you can see our nice cable stitches. So we're going to go to the back of this. And we're going to turn it around. So now I'm going to whip stitch this wrong side. This is the right side. This is the wrong side. And I'm going to go right in here where there's the beginning of the 2 squares. And I'm just going to put my needle in here. And there's that end. I leave this end a little long because what I'm going to do is weave that in. I weave that end in. So I'm going to just whip stitch right across. I'm going to go back and forth. And whip stitch this right across. And again, this is on the wrong side. And you'll just go back and forth till you get to the very end. And you'll do this right across. So if you want, let's meet at the end. So now I'm almost at the end of this, and I'm just going to close this up and finish it up. And like I said, just whip stitched it from the wrong side. And you want to do this all the way to the end. You want to make sure that you close that up. And then I'll go back in here and I'm going to make a little knot to close this off. And then what I'll do is, once I weave this in, where I think it's weaved in enough, I will then fasten off and cut this right off. And when you turn this around to the front, now what we're going to do is we're going to put the final step of this, and we're going to add our border. I want to mention that this is what we're going to do with every one that block that we make. The border is always going to be the same. The stitch count is always going to be the same, and I'll show you just what I mean by that. So now let's start our border, and what we're going to do is I'm going to do a slip knot because I'm going to attach this to the corner, and we want to make sure that we put this right in this corner. And we chain one because we want to make it so that it's nice and firmly and tight in there. And then we're going to make a single crochet right where we did that. So we're going to make a single crochet. And what we want to do is we want to put a marker there because that's our first corner. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make 28 more single crochets. With that one, it's going to be 29. And we're going to go right across this, just this square, and make 29 total single crochets, including this one. So you're going to find that you're going to space them the best way that you can see. You can do it through your looking at it. You can space it out and figure out how you do it and mark it with a stitch marker, but you're going to make 29 total single crochets right across. So you're going to go right across and make 29 until you get to this spot, the last one, making sure that that first single crochet you count. So it's going to be 29 total. And I'll meet you at this corner. Stitch. So I'm going to put 27 and 28. And make sure you put a stitch marker there because it will help and guide you. So now we're going to go across this block and we're going to put 15 single crochets. But at the end, we're going to put another one, and that's going to be 16. So in total, you want to put 16 single crochets in this next step. So you want to put a total of 16. So you're going to do 16 total single crochets right across. And you're going to space it out. And like I said, you can measure it, you can figure it out, or you can do it by just looking at it. And it doesn't matter because if you don't get it right, just pull it out. So I'll meet you at the end of this block. So here I am now, and I'm going to put 15. And at this very corner, 16. And then we're going to get another stitch marker, and we want to mark that corner stitch. Now we're going to go down the side. And on this side, we're going to put 22 single crochets. 22. So we're going to go up the side of just this block and put 22 single crochets right across. And when I get to almost the end, I'll show you what we do next. 22. We're almost at the end of this, and I have 20, and I've got to do 22. So we'll go do 20, 21, and 22. Now we're at this cable. We're going to do 6 stitches across. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you did 6 across where the cable is. And now we'll continue to the next block. Now that we did our 6 where our cable stitches, we're going to move on to the next square. And we're going to go down. And we're going to do 16 stitches across. So we're going to start right here. And we're going to do 16 stitches across. So that's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and meet me at the end. And we're almost at the end, and we want to do our 16th one at the end. And that's at the corner. And we're going to put another stitch marker there. So put a stitch marker in every corner that you go to. Now we're going to go down the bottom, and we're going to put 28 stitches across on the bottom. So we're going to do 28 stitches across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and meet me at the end of this block. We're almost at the end of this block, so the 26, 27, and 28. That's what it looks like. Now we're going to move on to the next block, and we want to have a total of 16 stitches. Always make sure that there's one at this end, and you want to put a stitch marker there. So we're going to go across and put 16 stitches across. We'll start right here with our first single crochet, and we want to put 16 across. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and meet me at the end. I'm at the very end, and I'm going to put my 16th stitch in this corner. And I'm going to do like I've done right along, and I'm going to put a nice stitch marker in there. Then once I do that, I'm going to put 15 stitches across, 15 single crochets across. I'm going to just fix this stitch marker because it's kind of in my way. And we're going to put, again, 15 stitches across. So we're going to go right across and put 15. 1, 2, 3, and meet me at the end of this. Now we're going to do our 15th stitch. So now we're back to another cable stitch right here, and we're going to put 6 stitches in that cable stitch. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You want to make sure that you space it out enough. So you want to make sure that you do that space out enough. So I'll show you. Okay. So that you have 6 across. So now we're at the very end, and this is where we began. So because we're at the very end, we're going to do 22 stitches across. So we're going to do 22 stitches across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and meet me at almost the end. Now I'm on my 22 stitches, so this will be my last stitch, which is 22. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my first stitch marker out, because I know that's a corner, and I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that I made. Now I want to mention we have 176 single crochets, and that's what you want when you finish these blocks. 176 for that first round. You're going to chain 1 and chain 2, and that's going to be your first half double crochet, and in that same spot you're going to put another half double crochet in the back loop. And then we're going to work, and when I say in the back loop, we're going to work in the, not this loop, but this loop of the single crochet. And you're going to make a half double crochet in the back loop of every stitch that you made. These are your single crochets, and they're working in the back loop, and you see you get like a little ridge because you're doing that. So again, in the back loop, you're going to do all your half double crochets. And it is going to kind of be like, oh my God, you transitioned from single crochets to half double crochets. So that's okay. And you're going to go all the way to the end. And then we're going to do something different when we get to the end. And I will show you what I mean by that. So let's just go across with our half double crochets. And you're just going to go in every stitch. Now I want to mention that there's going to be an increase in this row. And I'll show you what I mean by that. This row is going to have an increase. And again, half double crochet in the back loop only of each single crochet. You get that nice little ridge. It's just a really nice way to end it. But the way we broke those stitches down, we ended up having 176 single crochets. And now we're getting almost to the end, and you're going to see why it was so important to put those stitch markers in. Right here is your corner stitch. So in that stitch, you're going to make 3 half double crochets in this corner. 1, 2, and 3. And you can take that stitch marker out once you do that, or before you do it, it's up to you. And you're going to put 3 half double crochets in every corner where you have that stitch marker. 3 half double crochets. I'm going to have you do that in every corner. Continue to do a half double crochet all the way across in every stitch, and then once you get to another corner, 3 half double crochets, another corner, 3 half double crochets. And I'm going to meet you where we began this, with the first stitches that we made for the second row, because this is row 2. I'll meet you at the end of this. Okay, so now we're at the very beginning, and I have one more stitch that I have to do a half double crochet in. And now this is where we made, this was our first corner, and there's a chain 3, there's a chain 2 and a half double crochet. We're going to go right where that is, and we're going to put one more half double crochet because we want 3 in the corner. 3 half double crochets in each corner. Where that chain 2 is stitches, and we're going to put a slip stitch right there so we can join this together. And then after you do that, we can fasten off, and this will be, this square is done, this block I should say is done, and this is block number 3 finished. And once you do that, we're going to pull this right through, and we're done with this square. You can do all your ends, weave in all your ends, and this square is finished. Block number 3. This is Maria from Crochet A to Z. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial of finishing off block number 3. Thank you. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Love you all. Bye-bye.